For the donor class and the Wall Street Journal and the Murdochs, you're 1,000,000% correct. They want the permanent installation of the Trump tax cuts. They're all welfare queens on corporate welfare. And this is why I'm so adamantly opposed to them. I support the president, but look, I didn't support the tax plan in the beginning. The best way to do this is put a gun to the head of the wealthy and say, okay, if you don't help us cut spending by backing your lobbyists off, the defense budget is an obscenity and must be cut. Unless we're prepared to do that, then your taxes are going to go up, and not just your income taxes. We're going to have financial taxes, the carried interest, all of it, financial tax. We're going to get to a balanced budget, and we're not going to do it in the back of the little guy.
Wow.
Those statements came from former Trump aide Steve Bannon. Real populist messaging there, which is strange considering the fact that he just pleaded guilty to defrauding donors to a fundraising effort that he and his friends had started to allegedly build a border wall. No such thing happened. The money was essentially a personal slush fund for these individuals. And so pleading guilty to it kind of gives the whole game away, doesn't it, Cenk? I mean, all that populist messaging doesn't really mean much when you were willing to defraud people who support you, who support Donald Trump. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, I'm super conflicted on this, and so, but not halfway on either. So first, on him pleading guilty. Look, I get it. He's gonna say he was facing 15 years and they said you got a suspended sentence for 2 to 3 years. So I didn't really do it, but I had to take the plea, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, brother, you just pled guilty. Guilty is guilty. Your co-conspirators already went to prison, and you knew that since they had enough evidence to send them to prison, they probably had enough evidence to send you to prison. That's why you took the plea. And what kind of a populist rips off his own supporters and viewers for a fake wall? Where's the wall? Where's the wall? I mean, I saw you on a yacht, but I didn't see the wall, right? So that should be 100% condemned, okay? And there's no need for any equivocation there. Now, that's Steve Bannon, the individual. Now, when he talks about policy in that clip that we showed you guys, that's different because now we're talking about policy, okay? Not his personal proclivities and if he's a bad guy or whatever. He wants to get rid of the carried interest loophole. We've been trying to get rid of the carried interest loophole for decades. So guys, when I tell you some portion of MAGA, even if we hate Steve Bannon, even if we hate some portion of them, and we hate them for really good reasons, and we think they're a bad guy, whatever. When they say, yeah, we're gonna rally the troops to raise taxes on the rich, to raise taxes on corporations, to take away the carried interest loophole, we would be mental not to take yes for an answer. I mean, that's what we wanted to do for this whole time. I cannot believe Steve Bannon is saying that, plus told you. And what I mean by that is, I can't believe that the right-wing populists have come back around to the correct positions. But Anna and I went on these shows, people yelled at us, but we came back saying, I think you might be surprised at some of their opinions. Yeah. And here it is. I mean, my God, he said the defense budget. He said the defense budget must be cut. Told you, Steve Bannon's not lying there.
I don't, look, obviously I agree with the message. My issue is I don't know if I believe that he believes what he's saying.
No,
really?
No,
but Cenk, okay, hold on. Let me make my argument. Let me make my case. Okay. For me, the whole idea of the populist movement is to look out for the little guy. For all the Americans who were screwed over by free trade deals, globalization, the unbelievable economic inequalities that we're all noticing, that we've all been noticing, that really exploded under the Obama administration and continued. That gap continued to widen in subsequent administrations. So the idea is we want to make the lives of ordinary people better, right? We're sick of corporations stealing wages, stealing wealth, right? We're sick of it. But how is the guy who literally stole from his own supporters gonna turn around and say that he believes in populism and wants like more economic equality?
No, I don't care about their personal lives at all.
But it's not personal, Cenk. It's
so no. Let me do a counterpoint. Yeah, okay. I hear you. And so look, if you say don't blanket trust Steve Bannon, I would answer, of course. course, right? So, but Trump is a guy who's did a fake university, a fake charity. You've got a billion problems with Donald Trump: a pathological liar, a narcissist, etc. But if he says, "Hey, let's do reciprocal tariffs," good, I like reciprocal tariffs. So I don't have to say like, oh, I don't trust him. No, he said tariffs all along, right?
I know.
And so like, I don't have to hate the policy, even if I hate the guy, or I don't trust the guy.
Listen, don't get me wrong. If Steve Bannon manages to gain Donald Trump's ear again, right? Which I don't think he has Donald Trump's ear at the moment. I think Elon Musk beat Bannon in this tug of war. And let's just call it what it is, because just look at the policies that are coming from the Trump administration so far. I mean, the dismantling of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the one federal government agency that essentially polices Wall Street and the big banks, that is a signal to me that Elon Musk, for the moment, has won. And Steve Bannon's wing of the Republican Party has less influence over Donald Trump. But let's say he manages to have some influence over Donald Trump again, and all of a sudden we're hearing from Trump, this is so laughable, I can't even imagine this ever happening, but getting rid of the carried interest loophole. I mean, yes, I would say, yes, let's go for it. Let's support this. Let's provide positive reinforcement, see if there's a way to work together to actually get that done. It's not like I would stand in the way of that or say negative things about anyone trying to engage in that effort. I just don't know if Steve Bannon really believes in these things, and I haven't seen any evidence that he's actually pushed for these things.
No, but he says it on the air all the time. And Anna, even saying it on the air matters, because he's influencing the right wing in MAGA to be against carried interest loophole.
He's influencing them to support Trump.
I know, but he's trying to push Trump to get rid of these loopholes and to actually increase taxes on corporations. So even if you think it's a secret plan to actually lower the taxes, well, it's too secret, because every day he's telling the MAGA guys, we should raise taxes, we should raise taxes on the rich, we should raise taxes on corporations, we should get rid of the Wall Street loopholes. And that's getting into their head, and it's influencing them to go, yeah, wait a minute. And remember, 76% of Americans want to raise taxes on the rich. And
yeah, they do, that is true.
Right, yep. And so and even if you think, hey, I don't think Steve Bannon in his heart of hearts believes that, but he's pushing that because it's popular, I don't care. I don't care what's in his heart of hearts. I care what he's pushing. Do you see what I'm saying?
It would be really interesting to interview him, because I have so many questions. And the video that we showed you at the top of this story was a compilation of some of the stuff he had to say during a New York Times podcast interview. And it was a fascinating conversation. He said a lot of things that I agree with, economically speaking. But this story about him defrauding donors to this fundraising effort is what's really bothering me and forces me to question whether or not he's actually genuine about what he's saying. But let me give you the details about what he did.
Okay, first, before you do that, I want to change the poll. We have polls during the live show, and in this case, it was who's the worst, Trump, Bannon, Musk, or they're all terrible. But most people are gonna answer they're all terrible. What I want is poll, Musk and Bannon are opposed to each other. If you had to pick one, and I'm not saying like, oh, that means you love that person. I'm saying pick your poison, right? And if you're a right winger, they're not poison to you. It's okay, but vote either way. Live chat, 6 o'clock Eastern every day. We're live. So Elon Musk or Steve Bannon, if you had to say this person is going to influence Trump more, who do you want to influence more? And part of the reason I asked that is because when they first started, I probably would have said Musk. Now I'm starting to lean towards Bannon. Because Bannon says such crazy things. Bannon says like, let's put a gun to the head of the rich in that clip. I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, he wasn't being literal.
I hope metaphorical, but I still wouldn't use that analogy. But Anna, part of the reason why I don't think
he called Elon Musk and Mark Andreessen, who's, by the way, the main reason why the CFPB is being dismantled. Mark Andreessen totally lied to Joe Rogan on his podcast about how the CFPB is debanking people, which isn't true. But anyway, he called these people, Bannon did, oligarchs multiple times throughout that podcast interview.
So look, Musk seems like he's more in the, I thought in the beginning, perhaps more in the rational world, and Bannon on social issues is horrible. That's why I'm saying pick your poison. And he might even want to kick legal immigrants like me out of the country. So I'm not saying that's an endorsement. I'm just saying if he's pushing MAGA to raise taxes on corporations, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I agree. If he's serious about it and he wants to do it, I 100% co-sign. Let me see him do it though.
Yeah, let's see you do it. Oh, yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Okay, so just to give you guys the details about the case and his decision to plead guilty. So Bannon was indicted in 2022 on state charges of money laundering, conspiracy, and fraud related to an online fundraising scheme called We Build the Wall that solicited donations on the premise of building a wall along the US-Mexico border. Prosecutors have accused Bannon and others of raising over $15 million by falsely claiming that none of the money would be used to pay the salary of one of the founders, but that money was used by the founders of this fundraising effort. When the judge asked him if he was pleading guilty to one count of defrauding in the first degree due to his role in this scam, Bannon simply answered, "Yes, Your Honor." Now, he will not be serving any time behind bars, and he is even not required to pay any restitution to the victims in this case because his co-defendants returned millions to the victims in the related federal case. So there was a federal case in this. Remember, just before leaving office, Donald Trump pardoned Steve Bannon, so he no longer had to deal with the federal case. But at that point, the district attorney's office in Manhattan, filed suit against, or they prosecuted Steve Bannon, I should say, and that has Bannon furious, so he wants to go after Alvin Bragg. He's calling for investigations into Alvin Bragg and Letitia James. And by the way, as part of his 3-year conditional discharge, Bannon is banned from serving as an officer or director of any charitable organizations or nonprofits with assets in New York or access We Build the Wall donor names. So there you have it. Bannon believes that Bragg and Letitia James are an existential threat to Donald Trump's administration, and that, they're the queen of lawfare. That's how he referred to Letitia James. So look, do I think that the Trump administration might look into the district attorney's office out of retaliation? Probably, I wouldn't be surprised. But here you have it. You have, on one hand, Steve Bannon saying interesting economic policies that we are definitely in favor of, but he did something really terrible here and pleaded guilty for it. So.
Yeah, and that's the real world, guys, where everything is complicated and there is no easy answer, and it's not a binary situation where we get to say, oh, okay, everybody's wrong on that side, even though they have different opinions and disagree with each other, or everybody's right on whichever side. So let's look here. Look at that. Bannon at 81%, Musk at 19%.
People are saying they don't like Musk.
So look, I give you one comment from a YouTube member that I think speaks for America. Ski Maschio, God bless us on those handles, says Bannon is right, but I don't trust his ass.
Yeah.
Super fair.
Yeah, that's where I stand on it.
Yeah, but it's okay to say he's right, even though we don't trust him, right? And it's okay to say we don't trust him, even though he might be right about that issue, right? By the way, I mentioned we go on right-wing shows from time to time, as you guys might know by now. tyt.com/press, and you can actually watch it with your own eyes. You can watch the whole thing and see what you think of it, and you might be able to see, oh, I see, that's what the right wing actually thinks, right? Let alone what we actually think.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.